Okay, this is the same game from that other video I made about Gary's, but I just had another idea, so I started recording again. I don't know if it's going to be in the same video, probably not. But when's a good time to do a reinforce? Most people say get it down at 2 minutes left. And on defense, it really depends. Let's say that the enemy isn't anywhere close to the circle and we get our reinforce down at 2 minutes. If by the end of that reinforce with 10 seconds left, they make one last big push and get inside the circle and start contesting, and then they push it into overtime, then that's really when we'd want our reinforce, not when they're still like preparing that last ditch push. So it's not a bad idea to get a reinforce down the last 2 minutes. Like, it has its pros, but there is always the possibility that it could bite you in the ass. I don't like people thinking that when you get the reinforce down at 2 minutes, it's a certified win. There is some risk to it, because like I said, if in that last 10 seconds they make one last big push, and then they go into overtime, holy shit, no one's pinging that panther. Well, I tried. But yes, in that overtime, if you don't have that reinforce, you would have wished you held out on using that reinforce a little longer. So it's just something to think about. In Warfare, it also works a little differently in my opinion. So it takes about 2 minutes to cap the point in general, any point. So it doesn't make sense to put a reinforce down on the last 2 minutes of a Warfare game if, it takes 2 minutes to cap. Sorry, I had a little brain fart. So in my opinion, the better thing to do in that situation would be to get it down at like 4 minutes. Sometimes I do like 3.5 minutes left just to be on the safe side, so that it carries you into like 1.5 minutes left in the game, and then they don't even have enough time to cap the point anyways. So if you're on Warfare, the best time to do a reinforce would be like 3.5 instead of 4 minutes. And if you're on defense, you might want to wait a little longer than 2 minutes, just in case to make that last push and go into overtime. It's just a little something to think about, because sometimes people will tell me to put the reinforce down, and those are the things I'm considering. And I tell them, let me think about it, and they start getting mad and think I'm holding out on them. But as commander, it's your job to think of those things and consider all the risks before you make a decision. Nobody's perfect. I've had plenty of terrible games. So, you really just gotta do what you can and just try to think into the future and think what the best investment is. But yeah, appreciate you watching the video, and I hope you learned something.